Okay, cool. All right. My name is Eric Solomon. I've been working in open source technology for probably about the past 10 years. And it's like a real passion of mine. I think, you know, once I realized that like this entire field exists and that you could just participate for free and like get good feedback on the stuff that you're trying to do and trying to learn, I shifted my focus away from pretty much everything else and directed it almost fully towards that. Um, so it's very important to me. And I started with Icon Foundation as a technical lead in January 2022, right at the beginning of the month, beginning of the year. And I started with similar time to Cyrus Vorwald, who is another one of the technical leads at Icon, a specific project and how that gets run and like what are the tasks associated with it. Can you share your screen again, Narush? I can't seem to find it. But so that is my role. And for a while, I've been kind of trying to parlay all of the like things that I'm working on into having a better open source community. And that obviously means a different thing for everybody, but I do think that there are a few key tenets of a good open source community that like should exist and were frankly lacking. And you know, is like what one of the culminating points is this update to make sure that everybody understands like what those efforts are and why they are important. Um, so the technical community update here is a like quarterly report that I am going to be facilitating starting now, going for the next 2 months, and then the ones following that are going to be on 3 month cycles. And the point of them is going to be to, on the one hand, provide an ideological focus for like what the Icon Foundation has been attempting to facilitate with the Icon community, and then to provide some amount of transparency and accountability for on the side of the Icon Foundation with respect to the expectations of the community, for the milestones that were accomplished that we had stated in the prior update were to be accomplished, as well as the goals for the current following cycle for the next 3 months that we're stating. And the idea there is that anybody who follows these reports should be able to understand, by reading through the like top level bullet points or like section headers, um, what were we saying we're going to do, and then what did we actually do based off of the things that we said we were going to do. Being that this is the first of these, by the way, Arosh, if you see someone raise a question, can you just let me know? Okay, thank you. I'm going to continue until then. Being that this is the first. Yeah, and feel free to do that at any time. Otherwise, I'm basically going through my vision for the community and using the report as an outline as well as a few other links. So yeah, anyway, back to what I was saying is that this report, because the first one, we've got prior milestones, which are not referenced by a prior reports goals section. This is just the milestones that I've kind of set for my role and have accomplished within the period of time, basically from January until now. So the milestones you can read, but I'll go through them kind of briefly. The one is the discourse forum. Um, I noticed we had a discourse forum and that it was like kind of well used, but my intention is basically for the Discord forum to act more like if you've ever used, I don't know, Manjaro Linux is a great example, or Arch Linux, or something, Stack Overflow. The forum is a way to have like some amount of permanence with respect to the like problem solving style communications that occur or technical or non-technical, frankly, issues in the Icon ecosystem. Um, Whereas Discord is like a little bit more of an ephemeral form of communication. You have like things that pop up in Discord and then very quickly go away, and it's more difficult to track if your problem is being solved. And there's no real like archiving up until now. Maybe there's a new feature or something that I don't know about, but um, you couldn't archive answers. And so anybody else that would come in and would have a problem that, you know, potentially could be a relatively common issue, they would have no idea what to do, even though that issue and the process to solve it had been gone through before. Or, you know, even if it hadn't been gone through to completion, you can archive like the process itself of solving an issue up until the like last roadblock point, and then if it's well organized, somebody else can jump in and continue that problem solving process or bring up that it's still an issue or something like that. And so yeah, that was the first thing, is organizing the technical forum. I find that to be like extremely important, especially for a community based project. Next thing is the technical documentation. So the technical documentation existed before, and I've heard a little bit of like varied opinions about the new format. Mostly positive, I would say like 95% of the people that I've gotten feedback from on the new documentation say that it's like in a better format than it was before, and it's more clear, like denotations of information. But I've heard some people say that the old format had a more rich set of information as well. So kind of still figuring out exactly how to tailor the new docs, but the overarching point is that they existed before, except for it was not very logical to follow. One of the like main sort of reasons for pursuing that project was like right as I was joining, there was a hackathon that Icon hosted. I believe it was in Vietnam, and there was, you know, 100, however many participants that were building with the Icon technology. But the like overarching feedback was that it was difficult to start, like to bootstrap the process of creating a project based off of the Icon technology. And so, you know, those docs efforts are basically a little bit in response to the feedback that we've received, seeing people who are struggling and then understanding why they're struggling and what are the parts of it that can be improved. So you can actually see the open source project on GitHub for the docs is at the link icon-project/dev portal. And there's a GitHub discussion that I opened as I was reorganizing the docs, which explains like what the structure is of the reorganization and a little bit about why I did it that way. So you can look at that if you want. The Icon community GitHub organization on, yeah, the GitHub organization. Can you open that in a new tab, please? Um, just like middle click on it or something. No, it's just right in the prior milestones, the third bullet point. It's okay. 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 Yeah, take your time. So right. And then in one more tab, can you open, instead of icon dash community, it should be icon dash project. It's the same like base GitHub link, github.com/icon-project. Awesome. Thank you. So the icon dash project is the base organization on GitHub for the like core developments of icon technology. As of now, this is where it's all hosted, and it is open source, and it's like facilitates mostly what have been up until now developments by the contracting groups associated with the Icon Foundation have like developed for Icon technology. It is open though, and the goal is to have more participation from people outside of just the contracting groups. And I also want to make sure to like not discount that there are currently open source contributors as well. There, in my opinion, that community should grow, but there have definitely been some good efforts by people up until now. And so, what I wanted to talk about in that third bullet point is the second tab that you have open, the icon-community GitHub organization. Yeah, cool. So, this is an auxiliary organization that is like a way for community members to uh, like develop projects that are kind of consolidated into the icon community without having to like present themselves as core projects and without like a community member having to either establish their own open source development network or like their own development organizational brand. So it's like a nice to have. It's a thing that you can use if you want to. We've got a couple of projects that are currently on the Icon Dash community organization, which I think are quite nice. The one awesome icon is if you're a community member and you have some project that you've developed, you can like submit a pull request or ping me or whatever and get your project listed on Awesome Icon. And then it's just for people either in the community or who want to join who can now view like all the resources that are available or a collection of them. The contribution proposal system called the CPS, pretty familiar term for like community insiders, I guess, is a like public decentralized funding source. And that development is being facilitated through the Icon Dash community organization. And then there's some other things. There's a Drogon, which is a project that actually got funding through the CPS that's being developed there. And then another one, which is kind of an upstart one about tracking like security issues on Icon through this group called SWC Registry, which is not really built out yet. But yeah, so Icon Dash community, if you want to like start a project or whatever, and you want it to kind of be easily accessible to other people who use Icon technology, you can do it here. You can join this as a member and start a project. You can ask somebody who's currently a member, like, what's a good way to facilitate your developments or, whatever you want. All right, can you go back to the first tab, please? Let's see. Next one, create public templates for grant proposals. Can you go to the third tab? Cool. So again, the Icon Foundation, like core Icon technology repository set. Can you scroll or click the repositories tab and then scroll to one that's called grants-program, or you can do the find repository, either way. No, it's in the, yeah, there you go. Sweet. So this is, I think, also very important. A like large part of the role of the Icon Foundation is to, well, and I guess the decentralized funding organization, the CPS, is to facilitate like grants for companies, businesses, individuals, content creators, ambassadors, whatever, that like have a idea and a plan to produce something that is useful for the icon community, the like ecosystem in general. And the purpose of the grants program repository is to provide like a set of resources that makes the process simpler for participants. If you go to this templates folder, this is, I think you can find it through the README, and then you can just click the project proposal.md file, for instance. This is what was previously not, either one, it doesn't matter. This, I don't think, was publicly provided before, but this is the standard format of a proposal for a grant. And now this specific one is all progress report associated with a grant for businesses or like grantees in the Icon ecosystem that have received grants from the foundation to like follow up or provide more information about what they're doing. And I believe it's through both the CPS and through the foundation itself, a contractual obligation that the grantee provides a proposal, and then the CPS, I believe it's an obligation to provide a progress report. I think progress reports are required on some foundation grants as well. But anyway, this shows you like what that entails, how to do it, and you can like feel free to use this set of information if you wanted to start your own grants program or something like that. So yeah, just making this publicly available and looking for people's like feedback on it. I think it's pretty useful. All right, cool. Can you go back to the first tab? And then this last thing is an effort that I've been making for a while now to like sort of consolidate or like provide better connections between the different like skilled resources, skilled and then I guess like economic resources that are present in the ecosystem. So this is called Tributor. It's short for contributor. And what it is like a jobs portal and like an organizational portal for businesses to present opportunities that they want people to like know that they can follow through for, typically in association with some like financial agreement. So this organization is run by somebody that I met at the consensus conference for crypto in, I guess, when was that conference? Like June or something. And it, I think, is a really good idea where currently what you can do is like have your organization list projects that they want people to contribute to. And in the next few months, according to the guy who runs this group, they're also adding in developer profiles. So what I've noticed is like a lot of people will come into the Icon community, and a lot of people do it through the Discord, for instance, and then present their skill sets and then be like, hey, I'm a developer for this, this, this. or like, I'm a media person for this, and this, and I want to figure out some way to help. And I think that there are quite a few people on like a lot of sides of um, that graph who would like to connect with each other, but don't have a great forum for doing so. For instance, the developer might want to connect with somebody who like is just an ideas person and potentially has access to funding, or is like a managerial person and would be motivated to submit for a grant either through the foundation or through the CPS, the contribution proposal system. So this is like the first of a few ongoing efforts to facilitate that better communication, where instead of like trying to facilitate that all on Discord or through like a manual process, we can just point people towards a like managed service that provides those sets of resources that would be not only available to people within the community, but also to like a wider technical audience who stumble upon the Icon ecosystem and are interested in it for one reason or another. So yeah, there's a few more organizations in addition to Tributor that I'm currently trying to facilitate partnerships with, and we'll see how they turn out, but I will keep y'all updated about how that's going. So can you go back to the first tab? Great. So now I'm going to get on to the goals for the 2-month period for this first update period of what is intended to be accomplished. And I don't know, there's a like part of me that wants, if these goals don't get accomplished, for like some folks in the community to, both be aware of that and then communicate that back to me. Like, hey, you said you were going to do this. Why didn't you do it? Or, like have expectations basically. And if they're not met, then like try to figure out what would like help those expectations be met better, or, if there's an issue at hand, essentially. So without further ado, the first one is a little bit of like a waterfall kind of goal that I have. This one's like one of the more top level goals, is called the Icon Builder Program. And it's kind of like a wrapper around some of the things that I mentioned previously with regards to the like icon-community organization and then the grants program templates, is that the builder program should basically provide a funnel to like direct people towards all of those different sets of resources, so that like if you've got a goal, you can reference the builder program and figure out like what is the best way to accomplish that goal. So I'll keep you updated. I guess the like first thing that can be mentioned is Icon Foundation supports a couple of different ecosystems currently. The like Icon Core blockchain technology, and then the ICE network, and then the BTP technology. And the builder program is sort of aiming to like help people connect to their like where can they where do they want to be with respect to some of those communities. And it's like helps to direct people towards different grant sources. It also would help to direct people towards different roles that make sense for them. Like I'm thinking of defining, on the one hand, a user role, a developer role, like a content creator role, and ambassador role for events, and maybe one more, a business developer role. Yeah, something like that, where you can figure out like where's your skill sets and your motivations, and how do you then best like do something with what you want to do. So that's the first thing. I'm going to move on to this technical tutorials section point. So the current icon community site is kind of like being built out to have, I guess, like to be a hub for developers, um, where like they can understand what is icon technology on a technical level, and how to use it. And a key point to like, excuse me, understanding how to use it is having more tutorial resources available. You can click on the Ethereum collection link in that section. It's a good like thing to talk over. Excuse me. All right, so yeah, basically you can see here like the community for Ethereum, which is really large, you know, way larger than ours is at this point. It basically facilitates people who have projects to submit like their bootstrap version of a project, their skeleton project, and then tell people like, so if you want to do this, this is how you can do it. I don't know if you want to click on a random one like smart contracts or something, or hard hat, or yeah, it will filter out if you scroll down maybe, or I don't know. It's not super important that you actually see the list. The point is that like there should be a set of tutorials for people to understand how to use icon from a number of different points of view, including like from the client side where you like want to make a web app, from the like core blockchain development side, from the, it's fine. You don't have to find it. I'm comfortable just explaining it. From the smart contract development side, which is where I think a lot of people will have interest, and then you know other things too, like the BTP side and the like maybe Polkadot network side for ICE network. Um, yeah, that's important. A lot of people have been asking for that, and I've been working with some community members to develop that. I believe there's a CPS proposal for it currently, but I could be wrong about that. But anyway, so tutorials I think are important. Let's go back to the first tab. Right, technical tutorials. Next thing, reorganizing the BTP specification. There is one more link that I think would be useful to open. Is can you go to github.com/cosmos/IBC? So you can scroll down a little bit and keep going. Here you go, right here. Right, so well, can you also open a new tab, github.com/icon-project/IIPS? Um, the idea is that like blockchain organizations basically, what's up? Icon-project, icon-project/IIPS. Yeah, scroll down to the bottom. So blockchain organizations typically present a series of standards, which like helps people understand how the technology works and then how to use it. And currently we've got IIPs 25, 34, 40, and scroll down. I think there's one more. And 52 are related to BTP, blockchain transmission protocol technology. And then if you could go back to the tab just prior to this one, the kind of comparison that I have been working with is for the inter-blockchain communication protocol from the Cosmos ecosystem. I think that there's a lot of benefits to the way that these standards are laid out, specifically in comparison to the way that the BTP standards are laid out. And what I like is that they've laid out the domain of the standard very clearly. The standard has like sort of a small, how do you say, scope. Like one standard doesn't try to extend to all of the different concepts that cover IBC. It's like this is the IBC concept for, having a module written in Rust language, or having a module written in Go language, or having an account on the interchain, or anyway, there you can see them here. But I think that they're scoped very nicely, and they have these 3 or maybe 4 pretty well-defined domains. So like app relayer, core, and maybe something else, client and core. And the top one is just meta. So I think that this similar style of like scoping and then domain definition would be very beneficial for the BTP standards as well. And one of the goals is to actually like implement that reorganization of the standards. I think it helps people a lot to start projects. What's the point of a technology, and what are the like key features of the technology? So that's that goal. Can you go back to the first tab? And then a few more. Next one is increased community contribution. This one, I think it comes with time and like persistence and trust, essentially. People like want to obviously contribute to a good project, but they want to like basically contribute in the way that they're motivated to. They don't want to have a lot of like goals and ideologies thrown onto them. And so I think that like if we keep kind of moving towards this path of like making the community open and presenting our ideas with rigor and like with like collaboration and discussion, then that will really showcase like the hopefully will be better showcased. What's up? The point is like I think the community contribution is a goal of mine, and that it will come as the like technology gets showcased better and the discussions get facilitated in like a productive and open way. So that's that point. Next point, organized state of contributions. You can open this link as well. All right, so this is the Icon Project Community repository, which is in pretty heavy development currently. And what it is like organizing community efforts, essentially, defining like what are the groups that participate in development, and like what roles do the people have that participate in those groups. And it kind of stems from like, well, I guess it's not fully decided exactly how it works yet, but it is pretty useful at current for a number of reasons. One is the like guidelines present a good set of like development guidelines and communication practices for people who work within the icon ecosystem. I guess specifically through projects that are like sponsored by the CPS or the foundation. And then also, it's kind of in the process of creating groups which help define like who is the person to call in the event of something needing to be done, either by a specific domain or like by a leadership role. Like if you wanted to talk to someone about security or participate in the developments related to security, the idea would be there's a group for that. If you wanted to talk to somebody about the like overall state of icon technology, there would be a group for that, and they would be able to like help direct either a viewer, a user, or a collaborator, contributor towards the like actual subgroup that they might be interested to find more out about. Um, so that's this, and hopefully, we'll see some interest in it. I think it's pretty cool. Can you go back to the first tab? And the last one, organizing public resources for the Icon Grants Program. That one we went over basically, which is the like progress report templates and stuff like that. So I'm not really going to go over it here. I think it's cool. I think that it helps people to understand how the grant process works, which is a major part of the like role of the foundation. And then, yeah, feel free to like raise more questions about it or talk about it on the GitHub repository or, discuss it on the Discord or whatever. So that's the technical community update. And yeah, thank you, Arosh, for facilitating that with me and for everybody that stuck with me through the live presentation and, may listen to it in the future. I don't really have anything else to say about this update. I guess I'll probably want to do more AMAs in this style in the future. Um, Once a week might be a little too frequent, but we'll definitely figure out some schedule. Yeah, we'll figure something out. I'm not exactly sure yet, but we can like take a poll about it as well. See when people would be interested to talk about this stuff. Um, cool. So, anybody have questions? Kind of a last call, I guess. So, I would say there's like two major things that you can do in order to do that, or three maybe. The first thing is think a little bit about your goal. That one is more of a personal thing, and you can do that to whatever degree you feel comfortable with. If you have like a role specifically you want to occupy, you can kind of full steam ahead into that. If you have a more general idea of like I want to contribute something but I don't really know, then that's okay too. The sort of path forward gets facilitated by the second and third things. The second one being if you like, you should really be asking people questions. We have a really solid community on Discord as well as through the forum, as well as on Telegram actually as well, which is not as official, I don't think, but like is kind of managed really well by the people who are motivated to manage it. And so find like the forum that you're comfortable participating in. And if you've got any questions at all, like, no stupid questions, ask it. And if you want your question to be like archived for the future, ask it on the forum so that then people can like see what you've tried to do, and like more people can learn from it, or like you can then just reference it really quickly if you want to like not have to fully remember it or write it down yourself. And then the third thing is to check out the technical docs. Yep. All right. I think that might be it. All right, everyone.